Costs of repairing KwaZulu-Natal flood damage could top R1 billion. Officials want national government to declare parts of the province disaster areas. That's after the recent floods in which 70 people were killed. Our reporter Mawande Keswa has this report.
Repairing the damage caused by horrific floods in KZN will cost the province R1.1 billion. And the city will have to cough up more than R658 million towards the repairs.
We have recorded a total of 235 damaged private homes in eThekwini, and this figure continues to rise as new homes are being added to the list.
The deadly floods have already claimed 70 lives, 2 bodies are still missing, and 1,469 people are homeless.
The KwaZulu-Natal Cabinet, at its specially convened meeting, resolved to seek for the classification of the provincial state of disaster.
Government has since pledged to assist grieving families with funeral arrangements.
The government will be supporting all the families that have been affected, particularly the deceased family members. Obviously, there are those that had to do the burials within the 24 hours, and those they have been done. But the ones that I have done the last weekend and the ones that are doing this week, the government continue to provide that support.
Those who've lost their property will also receive government assistance, but it's not yet clear how long the rebuilding will take. Mawande Keswa, Durban.
Staying with KwaZulu-Natal, disgruntled eThekwini municipal workers brought the Durban CBD to a standstill. They had camped outside the City Hall demanding to be upgraded to higher wage levels. This after the municipality allegedly employed 53 MK veterans on high pay scales. The meeting between worker representatives and municipal officials failed to yield positive results. ENCA's Tuba Velani was there and filed this report.
It started as a peaceful protest. Municipal workers occupied the City Hall. They want the municipality to either reverse its decision to hire employees at higher grade or alternatively upgrade them to similar scales.
Siyafuna ugrade 10 njengamasosha njengoba nawe eqashiwe nawo.
Lesihula yincane kakhulu. Ayisenzeli lutho. And kwimanje nje siningi inkinga esinazo. Kwakwimanje kuqashiwe abantu sikhona.
A day-long meeting between city officials and workers' representatives could not reach an agreement. Few minutes later, the situation deteriorated as chaos erupted. Unfortunately, it could not end well with this police officer. Workers rejected the municipality's decision.
There's nothing that we can settle for other than the grade 10 that was given to the so-called war veterans.
Workers have vowed to continue with disruptions until the municipality reverses its decision. Tuba Velani, Durban.
More than 51,000 police officers will be deployed at voting stations during the general election. Police Minister Bheki Cele held a media briefing about the security cluster's readiness for next Wednesday. Meanwhile, the IEC has confirmed more than 22,000 polling stations will be opened.
Police Minister Bheki Cele says they are prepared for election violence hotspots.
The capacity of 5 teams would be maintained at national level to be deployed to any part of the country where the situation requires urgent intervention to deal with high-risk situation. The highest risk areas are the Northwest and KZN provinces.
The IEC has meanwhile confirmed it's ready for free, fair and credible elections. On Monday and Tuesday, more than 700,000 special votes will be cast. A major priority for the electoral body is security at polling stations, including online.
Cybersecurity space is very, very carefully monitored on a regular basis, but in advance of elections we take very special measures to ensure that the system is not only monitored but it's also audited, and that audit is then available to political parties.
So how will it pan out? The IEC says it has about 60 million ballot papers for the national and 9 provincial elections, 300,000 ballot boxes, 45,000 voting compartments, 25,000 voting station error signs, and 56,000 stationary packs. The Commission has warned against anyone trying to obstruct the polls.
Even though the right to protest is protected in law, it is also protected in law that you don't interfere with the processes of the Electoral Commission. So it's actually illegal to plan anything that is going to obstruct the Electoral Commission.
The IEC is urging voters to be peaceful and patient while exercising their rights. Kylie Khumalo, Pretoria.
In what could be seen as yet another political killing, an ANC Youth League leader has been gunned down just days before the elections. Branch chairperson and convener Dumisani Moyo was assassinated outside his home in Chongweni near Durban on Tuesday night. It's believed 2 men ambushed him and opened fire. ENCA's Tubavelane has more.
A family in pain, mourning the tragic loss of its loved one. Dumisani Moyo's family believes his murder is politically motivated.
Before this tragedy, he articulated that his life was in danger because of the structure he was elected to serve in.
Moyo, a political activist, had his son in this car at the time of the incident. The bullet-riddled vehicle is now the only evidence of the ruthless act. The ANC Youth League says is not going to be discouraged.
Leaders of the ANC Youth League in the province are continuing to be a target. They are being killed in broad daylight. And we have no other reason to think that it's not politically motivated.
No arrests have yet been made. A political task team is investigating the matter.
Immediately, we dispatched the team that deal with political killing yesterday. Fortunately, one was in the province yesterday when they happened. We believe that if there were no efforts made in this province, the situation would have been terrible worse.
Moyo will be laid to rest on Sunday. Tubavelane, Chongweni, Durban.
The number of road fatalities dropped almost 50% during this year's Easter break. Traffic officials believed the reason is twofold. Firstly, there were fewer cars on the road compared to last year. And secondly, interventions including the arrests and prosecution of traffic offenders are paying off. Now Transport Minister Bladen Zamande is calling for 24-hour traffic policing on the roads. He says this has proven to be a lifesaver. Lorenzo Temba has more.
While it was a bloody start to the Easter weekend, 147 less people died on the country's roads. This is a 48% drop compared to the same time last year.
There may be an increase in the number of road users who are beginning to get the message, of what needs to be done to actually improve behavior.
The drastic decline has been attributed to more blue lights and fewer cars on the roads.
The separation of the Easter weekend and the school holidays were the major determinant. That in itself is helpful because it tells us what we need to do going forward. That we may have to engage the Department of Basic Education to say never again should we combine the two if we want to save lives.
91% of crashes were caused by human error, and 72% of the accidents occurred with male drivers behind the wheel. Over 800 people were nabbed for drunk driving.
Of course, it can't be 24/7 in every road, or even in every major road for that matter. But we have identified the most hazardous roads in our country, and also what one may call the most hazardous times.
Trial strikes and you're out. Nzimande has warned the points demerit system will soon come into effect.
You may hit zero in one incident. You drunk, you wipe out a family. That actually may be equal 12 points. Gone. We suspend you or we take the license from you forever. That you are such a danger to society.
While Limpopo recorded the highest number of fatalities at 41, the Free State logged the lowest death toll with 4 deaths. Leranzo Temba, Pretoria.
South Africans have just been hit by yet another fuel price hike. This is said to be the second highest petrol price on record, and the Energy Department says last year's assistance was a once-off intervention. Consumers continue to feel the knock-on effects. Now the people against petrol and paraffin increases are planning to protest against the latest increase. We, however, decided to look at the few fuel-efficient cars you may consider in the wake of these fuel price hikes. ENCA's Nobile Madala has the story.
Motorists will undoubtedly be feeling the series of petrol price increases in their pockets this winter. While it might seem like a dead end for customers, Kulegani Dumsani says consumers have some introspection to do.
You need to look at yourself as a consumer. Affordability is one of the key factors. And then issues such as, why do you need the car? I mean, do you need it for yourself or for your family? So practicality is also important. You also need to factor in running costs in the car, because there's no point really getting a car with a small engine that will invariably have a high running cost in the long run.
With that in mind, we decided to test drive 2 of the reportedly most fuel-efficient cars under the 200,000 Rand bracket.
The fuel efficiency on the Renault Kwid comes in a manufacturer claim of 4.7 litres per 100. What that means for the layman is that for every 100 kilometres that you drive, you're going to be using roughly 4.7 litres. 4.7 litres of fuel is going to equate to about 70-80 Rand. So that's what it's going to cost you to drive 100 kilometres.
And the Celerio takes more off your cost.
It's got a brilliant warranty, it's got the right amount of safety gear, it's got ABS, it's got airbags, and it's really economical to run. And Suzukis are known to be reliable as well.
The list of these entry-level cars is endless, but if you need to save petrol, here are some tricks of the trade.
You can avoid driving in peak hours, so choose routes where you won't stop and start all the time. When you stop, you can switch off your engine so that your car is not idling. You can also avoid driving with your windows up to limit the amount of drag in your car, so close your windows. Also, if it's not too hot, you can actually switch off your aircon. That will also save you fuel.
Whether you're upgrading, downgrading, or buying a new car for the first time, fuel increase means you now have to factor in the pressure at the pump. Fuel efficiency should now be a major consideration for motorists. Mobile Madlala, Johannesburg.
Coming up, London has been enjoying South Africa's distinctive sounds in a special production of a Zulu ballet called Inala.